I am going to start it off with introducing the crew. So, with us here, we've got Avid. I think for those of you who are keeping up with our announcements, Avid is our new VP of Game Development. He is in charge of project management for Eldramoor, overseeing the project, working with these wonderful people that are here on stage with me to make sure that we hit our deadlines and deliver an incredibly awesome game to all of you guys. So welcome, Avid. We have our lead engineer, Ryan, down below. I don't know, book dude, something like that, right? Ryan has a friend that is also joining us there, and Ryan, as you would guess by his title, is in charge of the engineers and putting the wonderful world of bringing the wonderful world of Eldramoor from nothing through code to life. So thank you, Ryan. We also have Thomas here. Thomas is our lead art director. Thomas makes everything look real pretty. And Thomas is the architect of our new art style, which I think everybody is stoked about. I know I am insanely stoked about it. It just looks incredible, and the entire art team is really doing such a great job. We also have off camera is Z. Z is our producer. He is making sure that we're running on estimates, that we're getting everything done. He runs a lot of our meetings, etc. So thank you, Z. I don't know. You're like Duck Z, or I don't know, Zaros. I don't know who. You got identity crisis over there. I'm not really sure who you are today. And lastly, but not leastly, we have Paul, who is our lead game designer. So if you love a feature in the game, there's Paul. If you hate a feature in the game, I'm Lynn. So that's
I was quietly making the same joke to myself, so I really appreciate that.
We've worked together too long. All right. So that's the crew here of insanely talented people, experienced, and their talent and their experience is only matched by their passion for putting this game together, bringing it to life, and creating the wonderful world of Eldramoor for all of you. So I am going to, I'm not sure who I'm passing it. Oh, I think I'm passing it over to Ryan, right? So we're going to start our Q&A session now. Yep. So you guys submitted some questions. You took it easy on us this time. Thank you. So we are going to answer all of the questions that were asked in Discord. We're going to give some information on Alpha, which I know you guys are all waiting for as well. And then we are going to do some live questions. Yes, I just answered that. Excellent. Yep, we're going to do some Q&A. So if you guys want to ask some questions live, we're going to be here and we'll pull you up on stage and you can ask some questions live. So over to you, Ryan.
All right. Thanks, Lynn. All right. The first one is an interesting one. The question is, I understand that most of the dev's background is coming from other VR MMOs. Compared to your first development experiences, what are some new things you've learned from developing Eldramoor? And I've got to say, for me personally, my previous experience, I was coming in kind of at the tail end of working on Zenith. So there was a lot of the development that I've been doing with Eldramoor has actually been pretty new to me, and I've been learning a ton through that. But from seeing my past experience there, having a solid base for our systems and having a solid base to build on and extend really does help a ton. And that's been something that we've been focusing on. As well as just knowing that performance is going to be very important to keep in mind throughout the entire development process, and just some tips and tricks for how to do that well within Unity. I reached out to the other devs and one mentioned the KISS principle as well, which stands for keep it simple, stupid. Kind of the same idea. Just start with something that's simple so that you can make it reliable and make it feel good in VR instead of going straight to complexity.
I think that's
And
me
then,
then.
yeah, it's for you.
How will guilds and clans be incorporated into the game? Can you bring your guild into the game and have, say, a rallying point or guild house? What might that look like? So we plan for guilds to eventually get a full system with rosters, permissions, private halls, stashes. We've talked a bit about having a perk system and progression for your guild because we just love this sort of communal teamwork gameplay that can be made and found with sort of a progression system where it's actually worth leveling up your guild and unlocking things and making some decisions there. We think it's a great way to play together and a core part of the Eldramoor experience. And, guilds are a great way to encourage that.
Next question is, which areas of the map will be playable in alpha, and what state can players expect those areas to be in? The alpha will consist of 4 regions: the town, the Emerald Thicket, the Rolling Hills, and the Mystic Wood. You can probably guess based on their names what their aesthetic would be, but any experience that you have in the alpha is still subject to change, and it will be evolving. We're still building the foundation of Eldramoor, kind of like the keep it simple, stupid stuff that Ryan was talking about, right? We're just at the foundation still. We want to have a really solid foundation to grow upon, so we're at that level, and that's kind of what you should be expecting when it comes to what you will experience in alpha. But it'll be kind of shaped and molded to meet all of our growing needs for adding more things for players to basically discover and experience in meaningful ways. The goal of the alpha will be to assess whether or not we're moving in the right direction, and based on your feedback, when you're playing the alpha, we can take any of the lessons learned to improve all of the other zones and regions that are planned for beta, early access, and beyond. The next question is, are you considering a map editor for player-created content like custom instances? I know that sounds super cool, but the answer is no. Map editors are not really feasible for our game. At least right now, it is very unlikely. But we do love the idea of exploring sandbox-type systems, which give players the ability to make experiences for other players to then experience. So we are trying to figure out how we might be able to accomplish that, but it's not quite clear yet. But it is something that we'll be continuously thinking about as new systems are entering the game, and whether or not there is a way for us to allow player-created content to be experienced by others. It's also very important to mention, though, that these types of systems, if they do exist in Eldramoor, would not be something that we would plan for early access or maybe even full release. It is more than likely that this would be something way down the road in like a future expansion or DLC, unless somehow magically the stars align. Back to you, Ryan.
God dang it! I'm so distracted by all the fun chat going on the side.
I know.
All
I
the
haven't looked
clapping
at it
and
yet.
cats.
Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah,
Like,
so
focus.
I
My
know.
ADHD is not allowing me to look over there because that would be the end of it.
See, our community is just so interesting already that it's just hard to stay focused. All right. So the next question that we got: will there be any parkour in Eldramoor? We do have some locomotion, like running, jumping, climbing, and gliding. We don't have a ton in right now, but we know it's fun, and we can expect to add more interesting locomotion things. We know that jumping puzzles in VR are awesome. We know that different parkour-like elements are really fun to do in VR. But we need to find good places for those to fit into the game and into the flow of our story. Some future zones that we have planned are more vertically inclined, so they're more likely to be used for stuff like this. But at this point, we have running, jumping, climbing, gliding. Then next question's on to Paul.
Oh yes, a pile of them. So we got a few here. Roughly how complete are the classes that are going to be playable in alpha? So we're focusing, I think a few people mentioned it, but we're focusing really hard on iterating on the core mechanics. So we've kind of left a lot of the stuff past level 10 to be done in the future. They have a lot of room to grow. Basically just, hammering on sort of the stuff we've been talking about. Start simple, get feedback from the players, use that to build out in the correct direction. Next question, will there be a shield toss ability for the warrior class? So internally, we think it's a really cool idea, and we have a design for it. It's a pretty spicy design, and may or may not have included the ability to even deliver like player skills on your shield or by throwing your shield and then having it do things where it lands. However, still in the exploration phase, and we're currently putting our effort towards gameplay that needs it more. The warrior's really coming along and feeling very good these days, and so we're really trying to turn our efforts toward places that need the attention a little bit more.
Hold on, I'm going to interrupt for 1 second. I'm cracking up because Remy just wrote, throws controller while throwing shield. I saw that comment come through and I just lost it.
Yeah,
all right, go ahead, sorry.
One of many concerns. I just remember,
sorry.
Memory for another time. How many bosses will be in the game, and are they hard? So I giggled a little bit at this question because at the end of the day, you guys will tell us if they're hard. But in the future, we have a plan for a number of world, dungeon, and raid bosses. Alpha doesn't quite have that much attention, but we do have a juiced up monster as a boss, and it's got a couple of neat and special spicy attacks that you won't see until you fight it. I think the important thing to answer in the question, though, is that we've always said that a higher difficulty content is not just a numbers increase. It has to be a new mechanic, a new attack, some change to the experience. So similar to that style, even at just the alpha scale, we've taken sort of one of our monsters that's normally in the alpha and juiced it up with new attacks and new experiences. I feel pretty confident that we have what we need to deliver some great mechanics and great boss fights in the future. And then one more for me on the same topic. Do you plan on having any really hard or time-consuming boss fights in dungeons or raids? Time-consuming, no. Like, while some of us are big VR fans and can stay in the headset for a long time, one, people who are, aren't on PC VR have sort of limited battery life, and two, a lot of players who, might not have that kind of stamina to stay in a long time. I don't want our boss fights to be these long, tedious grind fests. I'd like them to be hard, yes, particularly because raid and higher difficulty raids are really built for the hardcore combat players, but I'd like the challenge to come from better execution of mechanics, being able to split your attention into more places, being aware of more things at the same time, and having to deal with one or multiple tasks in order to accomplish a goal well, not just like make it last until we beat down your stamina. Like if we do a boss fight of that style, like there should be a very good reason for it and should be built into a proper mechanic. Since I've been chatting for a bit, Ryan.
Yeah. So some of you all were wondering about the mechanics that were showcased in this week's announcement. So to explain kind of a little bit more of what's going on in that video, a lot of the emphasis is on the warrior and the warrior's abilities. So the warrior has a variety of skills that they can activate on their sword and their shield using different gestures. The ones seen in the announcement were Burning Blade, which has your blade have a buff on it, and if you hit someone with that blade, then they can have a status effect applied, like a damage over time or some extra damage. There was also Splash, so you can actually launch projectiles from your sword, so you're not purely melee. You do have a little bit of range there. And there's also a short burst of an AoE that goes out from around you that is personal space, which acts as a debuff to enemies that are right next to you. There's also the shield that is on the warrior, so there's some mechanics we're still playing around with, but it's feeling pretty good. Where the shield is not always active, there is some element of choosing when the shield is active for blocking and having some things in place where you can't just have it on all the time. You have to be more selective about when you're trying to block different attacks.
And so one of the reasons we put that question there, because our next question is, with lots of graphics updates that do look good, what is the current state of the core mechanics? And that question feels like a bit of a left turn, but I think the idea is that we've been showing a lot of visual updates and haven't been showing as much of the design or sort of where the game mechanics are progressing. So that announcement that we just put out actually has a really good example of something. If you look closely, you'll see a little sword icon that changes direction with each swing. And originally, the warrior mechanic had players following the direction of that sword icon with their attacks. They'd get a damage bonus, and it helped them gain energy. So if it points this way, you have to swing this way, and if it points this way, you have to swing this way. And over time, we realized that wasn't as effective as the new mechanic, where skills are, basically hold trigger, do a specific slice to activate a powerful skill, and we found skills are, we've made them stronger, flashier, and they don't force your direction anymore. Like, you do still have a slice skill and a chop skill and a thrust skill, and you can put different things in those, but instead of making you do some awkward movement, you have the opportunity to choose which movement and what thing you want to activate. And it's a small thing, but it kind of hints on just some of the growth and the way we've been treating a lot of the mechanics as we've been developing, because we have been developing it for a little while ago. Every day we're iterating on our mechanics, even the classic mechanics, even as we add new ones.
Who's up?
And
Thomas?
yeah, back to me.
All right.
So next question. When will we learn which of one of the three possible player names we reserved is the one we got? So we're still processing that data. It looks like there were no duplicates, so it looks like those that requested names will get the first name that they picked. There were some names with spaces, which were invalid characters as per the form that we sent out. So there will be either people will be using fallbacks, or we'll be coming up with some solution to determine what the actual name you want should be, if it's removing spaces, changing to underscores or whatever, before early access. So some of that logistics is still to be determined, but rest assured, it seems like no one had conflicts, so y'all will get your names.
Looks like we have a comment in the chat about when can I request my name. So anyone who supported the Kickstarter, you want to give them the info on how they can follow through on that?
I think that might have been someone. Was it when or where? Did they say when or where?
When can I request my name?
When.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's somebody. Okay, Fluffy wrote when. Thanks, Fluff. I wasn't sure if it was somebody who didn't do Kickstarter and was wondering about requesting their name outside of the Kickstarter. I just wasn't sure about.
Yeah, that's a clarifying point, is that the reserving of names was an add-on that was part of our Kickstarter. So that question is directed to people who had gotten that add-on as part of our Kickstarter.
In case anybody did, though, and they haven't followed through on the email instructions, is there a quick recap for where they should check if they did support Kickstarter and haven't done everything they need to do on their end?
If they submitted the end survey, which I think the deadline for that has passed, if they submit the end survey, we do have the data, we have their requested usernames, we just need to get that into a place where they can see it, and that has not yet been done.
Gotcha.
But will be sorted out before early access.
All right, Thomas.
All right. Well, it's not a direct question that was asked, but it was brought up a few times in the past, and that was if we have grass in our game. And I usually, in the past, I answered it with maybe. So the reason I say maybe, or used to say maybe, is that in VR, things are a lot more expensive to render, especially when it comes to transparency. So we usually try to avoid transparency at all costs, and that led me to create a system that lets us paint grass or flood fill grass onto terrain, which then essentially has a smart system of culling in different stages. So that what that means, essentially, without going into too much detail, is that each person only sees whatever is necessary to be rendered at the time of being in the game. So everybody sees grass. It gets culled in a smart way in stages so it doesn't pop. And I think currently it's working pretty nicely. We've been testing it for a little bit. I'm still tweaking as well, but so far so good. And I'm very happy to say that this looks really, really, really nice, and really adds to the overall feel of the game. I'm also working on a water shader to make water also look really nice in game. Of course, this also depends on where you're playing, meaning if you're on Quest 3, the water will probably not look as great as on PCVR. That's just the downside of that. But regardless, I essentially created the 3 versions of the water shader, which is still a work in progress, but it's getting there, and it's looking pretty nice, and it's performing well. I'm sorry, that water GIF is just hilarious. So I'm having a good time, doing all things art and trying to make the game look great and run great at the same time. And there's more to talk about in probably another Tavern Talk, but yeah, I'll give it to Lynn.
Yeah, I saw. I'm not paying attention to the chat, but I'm seeing some things pop up, and I saw Pigeon Lord reminds me of Cephatep, and I actually when I told the guys today that the first time that raid was defeated, it took an hour for the last boss. They were like, "What?" So yeah, I was right there with you. I saw Panda put up some kind of scorpion. I just saw that the name, and it said something about scorpion gift. So I'm gonna give a shout out to that. And I'm not gonna say name because I don't want him to get haggled. But thank you very much. This is I was given this as a gift by one of you out there in the audience. I want to give a shout out. Why are you holding up one finger?
I was pointing at my duck too.
Oh yeah, duck over there, duck over there. Yep. So, and duck down there. It's like the Brady Bunch.
Your duck is definitely cooler though. I want one.
My duck is the best. I'm not gonna lie. My duck's the best. And also some more people I noticed in the audience. I saw Val. Fluffy has joined us. Thanks for joining late, Fluffy. The incomparable Jordan. I see Jordan out there. So, in any event, I will now get to my question. My question is about Alpha. Are you currently, and this is by Tom. We love ourselves some Tom. He asks some great questions and really provokes some good conversation on the Discord every time he jumps in. Are you currently on schedule for the Alpha to have the content you expected to have? If not, what content do you expect to leave out? It's kind of a bit of a loaded question because, of course, that's been a moving, target, if you will. We did have, so just so you guys know, we had the entire senior team over to my house last year, and we spent the whole weekend going through every feature, alpha, beta, early access, version 1, version 2, and just kind of laying things out. But right now we are generally on track for our alpha goals that we've set. And our priority is really making sure that the core experience is stable, fun, and worth your time, right? Worth your time and money, and that we're not just cramming in, all kinds of extra content. So if we need to cut anything, we'll be cutting kind of the add-on layers, some like polish, some creatures, maybe extra gear sets, things like that would, maybe some quality of life, but not the critical systems for testing, and testing the foundation of the game. On the timing side, we are always evaluating that. As you know, we first said it started in January, and then we moved it to February, and now it's in March. We really want to hit that March, that March month. I think we can, but we are always evaluating based on how fast we're moving. We estimate the best we can on how long things are going to take, and sometimes they take a little longer. So, we're working hard to really try to hit that date. We know everybody's excited. We're excited. So we are going to really try as best as we can to hit that March date.
The comments are full with the grass comments. Hey, grass is critical. I don't know if you've seen games with and without grass. It makes a difference.
People have been asking for grass for a really long time, like since we started
immersion.
showing images. Yeah.
And I'm proud to say our grass is not billboard grass. It's 3D grass, right? So.
All right, next question. Is any significant content in alpha due to or able to change in beta or full release? For example, could combat systems, assets, or how classes work change at all? Or are the main building blocks for those features set in stone? Yes, absolutely. Alpha is a stage where major things can change. Anything that you guys see is subject to change potentially. A lot of what you see in alpha, as we've been stating throughout this entire Tavern Talk, is the foundation, right? Like we're trying to create a foundation and then build upon it. So if we find out that any part of that foundation isn't working, we'll change it out and build it or replace it with something better. We're not going to necessarily reinvent everything overnight. It might not be super quick, right? But if issues are identified, we will make those changes. Things like combats, how your weapons are balanced, classes and skill abilities, progression paths, crafting and how that all works, player economy, enemy tuning, all these kinds of things are all subject to change. So based on your guys' feedback from alpha, which is going to be critical that you guys give us the most detailed feedback you possibly can, that's going to drive all of these types of changes. So just because you see something, if you dislike it, let us know and explain why, and we'll take a real hard look at it. The main purpose of alpha is to validate this like core foundation, right? So if it's not fun, if it's not working, we'll do our best to quickly improve upon it. And it'll be based on obviously whatever priorities we have at the time, and they're always evolving, but we will eventually get to it because we want to deliver a fun game for you all. So basically just the way to think about it, alpha is really just the starting point, and focus on your feedback to us. Don't worry about it being an alpha and maybe you not liking it. We'll figure it out and we'll improve. Next question is, and probably the question you guys have all been waiting for, a big one: how much content can we expect to see in alpha? So alpha is obviously not the full game with a ton of content. It's more of a realistic, playable version of Eldramoor, where the goal is just to kind of improve upon those foundations, right? So we want you to be able to move through the world. We want you to fight things. We want you to gather resources, craft items, and progress in general, do quests, things like that. And we want to make sure that it's hopefully as stable as possible, so that way your time feels meaningful and enjoyable. Content-wise, you can kind of expect a smaller but intentional slice of Eldramoor. Not everything will be online yet, and not everything will be polished yet, but the core gameplay loop should be there for you all to experience, or will be there for you all to experience. In Alpha, you will see a limited roster of creatures and fauna. Right now, we're targeting around 8 creatures and 2 fauna. You will have a functional selection of gather bowls, recipes, consumables, and gear to both acquire and craft. So you'll be able to test your progression and pacing and make sure that everything feels rewarding. The bigger focus on Alpha is making sure that the game holds up under real players. So, not just our internal team testing, but having all of you guys attack our servers. That means server stability, performance, multiplayer behavior, finding issues early so that we can fix them fast. We'll be actively working during the alpha to fix any kind of issues that we might run into. Ryan, our engineer, is going to be our wizard, and the rest of the engineering team. Just let us know when you guys are having those kinds of issues, and we'll get on it. You should expect bugs, rough edges. It's not going to be perfect. If it is, amazing. I wouldn't expect that, right? You're going to probably run into some janky things, or some of our like solutions that we have in place may have known bugs even as we go into the alpha. So feel free to just continue to report them. We won't be offended. In fact, we will be happy to have the feedback and the bug report so that way we can action on it. Also, just to call this out real quick in case there is any kind of questions, alpha will be English only. We don't have support for localization yet, so hopefully you can, if you're not a native English speaker, that isn't too big of a roadblock for you. It's just going to be something that we'll have to do later down the road.
Yeah, we are looking to implement it, just it will not be an alpha.
Yes. If you're coming into alpha expecting like a content complete MMO, it's going to feel early. But if you're coming into alpha wanting to just help shape Eldramoor, stress test it with us, and give feedback that directly influences what we're going to be building next and how we're going to improve upon what we already have, this is going to be the exact stage that matters most. So please get excited. Make sure you guys join. And actually, Lynn here is going to be talking to you guys about, if you haven't gotten your alpha access from Kickstarter support, what we're going to be considering for giving you guys another chance to get alpha access.
Yeah, we've got some server boosters out there, so I want to give a shout out to some of our Discord server boosters. I see Michael and Fortune and Harm. Thanks for being server boosters. There was also some other funny stuff. What did I write down? We want ducks. I saw a little thing come across. We want ducks, and I think, as you guys know, we've really leaned into that duck thing, and we will continue to do that. And I saw Fortune just say the word legs, which always makes me giggle because, of course, in Orbis we did not have legs. So just the fact that we have legs, everybody's like really excited. So as far as alpha and beta access, if you did not get it through Kickstarter or whatever the extended thing is called, we are going to set up another way for you to get that. We are honestly, we're not sure if it's going to be Patreon or something else. We are leaning towards a different provider than Patreon, simply because we also want to possibly provide you guys with print-on-demand services. So hey, if you want to make yourselves a hoodie with Eldramoor, if you want a hoodie with Eldramoor stuff on it, or other things like that, we want to enable that for you. And as far as alpha beta, so you will be able to jump in on the alpha beta access. It will be a limited supply because obviously, we need to mind how many people are getting in on that. And I know somebody asked about the price. The alpha beta access will be $59, which is the same that it was in Kickstarter. Of course, Kickstarter had some other kind of Kickstarter perks with it, but that's the joy of being Kickstarter, right? And of being there first. So, but the alpha beta at $59 will also come with the game. So not only will you get alpha and beta access, you will also get the full game. For those of you who don't know, our plan is to launch the game in early access and have it have like a trial, free to play, basically whatever, through like levels 1 through 10. And so you can play, you can go to all the zones. If you happen to have friends that are really powerful and they want to babysit you in the hardest zone, sure, go for it. But if you get gear, you really won't be able to obviously take advantage of it because you have to be that level. But we do want to enable everybody to be able to run around with friends and do whatever if they don't want to pay for the game. If you do want to pay for the game, then the sky's the limit. You get all the zones, all the levels, everything else. So again, I think the game was either going to be $19.99 or $24.99. I forget what we settled on. Was it $24.99? Yeah.
24.
Right, Paul?
I think $24.99.
Yeah, so it'll be $24.99. So you will, again, getting back to alpha beta, you'll get the alpha and beta access plus the game for $59. So that's what we're looking at. We'll probably also, I know some people, I think, were interested in the reserve your name we'll probably offer that as well, and some other things that we think people might want. So that keep your eye out for announcements on that. We're looking to obviously, if we want to give you guys alpha beta access, we've got to get that out within the next several weeks, right? So we will definitely be updating you through our announcements. If you're not part of the news roll, you don't have the news roll, please make sure that you have it. That way you'll get notified for our announcements, or you can just visit the announcements channel. And I think that's pretty much all that we have to say from a Q&A and announcements about the game. So I think we can, were there questions that we needed to answer first from the chat? Because I don't know who's minding the store on that, but I want to make sure if anything was put into chat. I know it's mostly just people having fun, which we love to see. We love to see that in our Discord. We love to see it here. And if there's any questions, we'll answer those from chat, and then we'll take some live questions.
Also, real
Lynn,
quick.
would you like me to read? Oh, yep.
I was just going to say, real quick, since we know that this will end up on YouTube as well, recorded those of you who are not watching this live and are watching it on YouTube. This is done through Discord, our community Discord. If you are not a part of it already, you guys can check the description down below. There should be a link to our Discord where you can join here and stay up to date on everything that is Eldramoor. So make sure to join our Discord.
All right. I just saw a question about day-night cycle. Thomas and I have gone back and forth about that. From an art
We're
perspective,
trying.
it's a difficult thing, but
Yes.
we're slowly wearing him down. People, we'll
Yeah,
just keep sending in your messages. We want day-night. We want day-night. We want day-night.
Well,
Direct
well.
them directly to him.
I gave you grass. I gave you water. So I guess the next step is to give you day-night. So I'm actually working on that. So just so everybody knows, I'm looking into things. So it's just it's with
day-night or give
anything
us-
that we, yeah, with anything
Give us
that
day-night or give us death, Thomas.
yeah, right. So I always have to consider that we're doing things in VR, which means things are just more costly to do, and so it's never just straightforward like just creating a PC game, for instance, right? It's just easy peasy. So it's just on a whole different level. So things just take I have to look into more things and be more considerate of performance and such. So, and I usually also talk to Ryan, head of engineering here, that to make sure that we align on things and just look into every possible angle of it to make sure it doesn't fail us, right? So we usually also test early, or I test early as much as I can, and so does the rest of the team, of course. And lastly, you will be testing it all, so if anything breaks, we'll know.
Yes. I think I saw some questions in the chat, but let's see. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, I saw someone ask if there'll be a type of fast travel. And I just
saw that
question. We haven't really talked about it. As far as fast travel is concerned, obviously, with the world as big as what we're making, and it does feel pretty legitimately sized. We don't want people to just spend all their time walking through it, but we don't really want to sacrifice some of the beauty that we've made and some of the spaces that we've made. So the way that we're treating things at the moment, and the way that we're thinking about things, is there'll be fast travel to, usually one very central point in each zone or region, and then from there you'll have to walk out into the world and go to where you're going. So we're kind of hedging the difference between we're not going to make you walk all the way from town around the island to go get what you need to go, but we'll put you somewhere vaguely convenient, and then you can walk out into that space and experience that space.
Lynn, we had a few questions from earlier. Perhaps I'll read them back and whoever can answer. First one's probably for design. If you've ever played Stride, a parkour VR game, wall running and vaulting over things is really satisfying. Would you ever consider adding these more complex movement systems?
I think if we could do it well, we'd add the more complex movement systems, but I also know that like we have some fun tools as it is, and I do think that we can accomplish quite a lot with just like the gliding, climbing, running, jumping stuff that we have. I feel like I wouldn't push more into those until I had a good reason or something specific that we wanted to accomplish with them. Like if I found like we had some puzzles and we're just like, we just can't pull this off unless we could run along a wall, then we might consider it. Or if we didn't, well, what can a class do with this? What skills can we use with this? Like the way that I think about a lot of our mechanics is that, you know, I want to add things that we can get a lot of meat out of, a lot of experience out of, that a lot of different parts of gameplay or different players can experience that as through have different experiences through the same lens. So I think we would approach that if we found enough stuff to do with it.
I see a lot of stuff about seasons. Will we have seasonal events? Will we have seasons? Yeah, we do plan on having seasons. Yes, we do plan on having
seasonal events.
Yeah, and well, I want seasons too, but again, I guess I got to beat Thomas up about that one. And seasonal events, and
I'd like to.
special, and special, transmogs for seasonal stuff, and all that kind of decorations, player house decorations, just different things for seasonal. We definitely will be we'll be doing that. The store will have some seasonal stuff in it, and things like that. So absolutely. Is there anybody who wants to? I know there's some other stuff that was asked in the chat, but I'd also love if anybody wants to come up live and ask any questions. Anybody but Fluffy, that would be great. Just kidding, Fluffy. I got nothing but love for you, buddy. Is there anybody that's brave enough? And I don't know how they do it. Do they raise a hand? Oh, I see people raising hands. Yes.
There's a few.
Castaway, I saw first.
Lynn, I'll bring them one at a time, and then I'll go back to the written questions.
Yeah. So I think I saw Castaway first, and then I saw Yeet, and then I saw Lannis. So we'll go in that way. Or does it number them?
Somebody let me in before you finished talking.
It's in a certain order. I'm not actually sure if it was in the order that they had.
Fine, whatever. That's fine. Let's just do it.
I was just wondering what the long-term monetization plan is looking like, because that seems to be where all of the predecessors have kind of failed, is keeping a steady income flow, because the VR community is not very big, and the VR MMO community is even smaller. So Is it like, are you looking to do expansions or just making money from like cosmetic sales?
Sure. So thank you for your question, and you are absolutely on target with what you said. The VR MMOs that have come before have basically kind of only had revenue based on initial purchase, and you can't survive like that. You absolutely can't, not in VR, right? And before I even started this process, I know some of you know I have another business, cybersecurity, and our revenue is all based on monthly recurring revenue. We are all about the monthly recurring revenue. And so before we even started this process, it was very important to me that we identified where the revenue was going to come from outside of the initial game purchase. So the quick answer is yes, we will have microtransactions. Yes, we will have expansion packs. And we'll have some quality of life things that you can purchase. There will be different, there will be microtransactions available through different ways. There'll be a store. We are looking at having some crates, things like that. Not like crates where you don't know what's inside. You buy it and you take a chance. You'll know what's inside. And the one thing though I want to make sure that I'm very clear about, and I have been very clear about this all through, we will not have any pay to win. Nothing that we sell will be pay to win ever. So gear will not be sold. It'll only be transmogs, things of that nature. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that. But I absolutely agree with you. It's been a huge issue in the past, and I believe we have a solid foundation for monetization to keep Eldramoor going for a very, very long time. Thank you very much for being brave and coming up here and asking your question. Z, you want to bring somebody else up? Welcome.
Hi, how's it going? Can you guys hear me?
Good, how are you? Yes, we can.
Okay, so hi, like I said in the chat, I've been kind of kept in the dark through what Eldramoor really is. Shout out Avid for showing me a really cool video of what it's about. How would you describe this game of like, what is the description of it?
Well, firstly, it's a VR MMORPG, right? But I feel like it's not your traditional MMORPG, because we are going to have a lot of social things in it. We're about community. Many of us have been in this community for a very long time. And so selfishly, we're looking to build ourselves a home as much as we're looking to build all of you a home. And we want a place where you guys can gather, have fun, hang out with everybody. And you can choose to go quest, kill, and do all of those things, raid, dungeons, or hang out in the tavern and do darts and chess, or we're going to have some we plan to have some other social events and other social things. I don't want to commit to things too much, because I get in trouble when I do that. So there's that. Go ahead. Yeah, Paul, you want to add?
I think just the thing that I'd want to contribute is that I feel like a lot of MMORPGs are very, very, very combat heavy. And while we appreciate our combat and are putting a lot of time and effort into making a good user experience with good challenge, I like to think of the game as more than a combat RPG. And I think that feeds into social and trade and crafting and exploration and all these other pieces that sort of make a larger communal home kind of experience, in which there are people who go out and they fight and they get loot and they do cool stuff and they team up and they take down raid bosses and they come back to the smiths who've been working all day and crafted up some really cool armor, and the people are hanging out in the tavern and they went and found some weird rare spawn and found these treasure chests out by the cliff that nobody knows about, and they found a duck hidden in the cavern. It's a tip for alpha, maybe. And just like all those little experiences that play so well off of, against, and with each other to make a more cohesive thing than just this one streamlined go out and raid experience. And I'll repeat it, don't get me wrong, I can't wait to design some of these raid mechanics. I can't wait to design some of these bosses. Believe me, the combat players will have their fun, but it's a little bit more than that.
Someone asked about the thank you very much for coming up on stage. Real quick, minimum age is 13, and that's the meta minimum age is 13. So just want to answer that. Somebody else going to come up and ask questions? There we go.
Hello there.
Hello there, welcome.
Hi. I have two different questions. They're both relatively small. Is that okay?
Sure.
So the first one being, do you guys have any plans or ideas for gliding/flying mounts?
So for mounts, well, we already have gliding, right? So we do have plans for different skins for those gliders, so that the gliding will look different. But we already have gliding built into the game. It's super fun, and so we have that. But so it's not a mount per se, but we do have gliding.
Okay. And do you know when guild name reserves will start?
I'm sorry?
Do you know when the guild name reserves will start? Like when we can reserve guild names?
Yeah, so I talked about for people, because I know a lot of you are coming from other MMOs, right? Whether it's Zenith, Elysia, Orbis, to town
Township
what?
sale.
Thank you. And you love you have your guilds, right? Yes, thank you, Township Tale. So you have your guilds, and we want to make sure that those guilds stay intact. So it's something that we'll kind of be doing. I'll probably be managing it. It'll be kind of off the cuff because obviously, we don't want someone sniping a guild name. And I know a lot of the guild owners, both in Zenith and Orbis at least. Not so many in Elysia, but I'm sure we can figure that out. Yes, I got you, Godfeather. And so it's kind of going to be a thing that when we get closer to EA, I'll be talking about that. So it'll still be a while.
Okay. Thank you. Well,
All right.
Almighty Dustguard. So yeah.
All righty. Who else we got?
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Something
Thanks for
I like-
joining us.
It's awesome to be up here. Something I like to live by is the idea that being smart means learning from others' mistakes. With that in mind, what lessons have you taken from other VR MMO games or games in general that you're applying to improve your own game?
Well, I mean, the first one was the question that was asked previously, right? Monetization. I mean, that was a huge one. I think for me, that definitely is a lesson learned. I know, I come from an Orbis background, and we were literally just trying to buy. Some people bought the game like 4, 5, 6 times to give the devs some money, because it was the only way. That was basically kind of the only way to give them money, because they didn't really have a monetization strategy. And I know Zenith, same way. Elysia has started having more of a monetization strategy, which is great. So, but that's definitely something that I've taken from it. Anybody else want to give an answer?
I can iterate on kind of the first question of the night, which is we're trying to have a simple base and then use that to have a simple but good feeling experience in VR, rather than trying to get as many experiences as we can, but all of them feel kind of not fun to play or are very buggy. And along those lines too, VR is a medium where performance and consistent performance is super important to avoid motion sickness and to just have a fun experience in the game.
So a little bit specific to VR. A lesson that I keep on a little note on my desk is don't do the thing the medium wishes it could do the thing the medium actually can do, or do the thing that the medium actually does well. There's a lot that we want VR to be able to do, and VR promises to do, and VR imagines to be able to do, and then there are things that VR actually does really well. And there are things that VR does very well that other, game mediums can't. And I feel like design-wise, we're diving very hard into into the ether, really, and trying to seize on those things like, this is fun, this works well, and taking that and running with it, instead of trying to force some idea of what the game, instead of trying to force some imagining on it. What works, what's fun, go with it. And that kind of hits off of the keep it stupid simple, and all this talk about please give us feedback on alpha so we know where to build.
So I see 7 people with hands up. We are getting close to deadline, but I do want to make sure. Thanks. First of all, thank you for coming up and asking your question, Castaway. I do want to give a chance for those 7 people to ask their questions. If any of the team does have to go, please, go ahead. But I'm willing to stay on for as long as we need to get these last 7 people their questions. So, Z, I don't know if there's a way we can stop the ability for people to raise their hands at now, but let's lock it into these 7 people and bring up the next person, please.
Sure. I can lock that, and then we also have possibly some quick questions from text if we have time.
Of similar slots, even a couple of extra slots you can put on your body that doesn't affect your stats, doesn't have gear requirements, doesn't have anything. You just put them on, and it's sort of a layered system where you have body, equipment, outfit on top. So I think, or what I'm expecting at the moment, is that as long as you hold on to those items, you'll always be able to put them on as a piece, as an outfit piece, and just wear that. As far as breaking things down and saving them.
So
Sorry,
being
what?
a fashion hunter is possible.
Oh, please.
Yes.
Oh,
but we
absolutely.
are encouraging that. We are going to have a lot of different things for people to wear. Absolutely, and maybe even their pets.
You should see some of the stuff coming out of the art team right now, and you will, but not quite yet. So that was one, and then you had asked about controlling who comes into your personal spaces. So there's a few different pieces of this, and I may have to tag in Ryan or Lynn to talk a little bit more about it. But I know that we need the ability to sort of ban people from your personal space, certainly ban people from your house or guild. I know I have talked with one of my designers a lot about having sort of the personal space bubble where certain people just can't come into that space. And if they do, they just disappear. You don't see them, you don't hear them. I think that there are a couple of options, but actually let me turn that over to someone who's a little bit more technical. If one of you two might be able to answer better.
Ryan?
I mean, yeah, we've got some options for that. We're definitely going to have the ability to block people, and as an extension of that, we could have some stuff that affects personal space, having colliders outside to block people, or like Paul said, like visuals turned off if they get within that space.
You shouldn't see them.
It's very doable.
You shouldn't hear them. And having written at least a little bit of how server preferences when you go into new scenes in the game, like when you go from region to region or go into the tavern or something, they are strongly favored against just naturally. So anytime you go into a space, the server will try and put you somewhere that they aren't. So even if you could see them, which hopefully you won't be able to.
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's see. Bring somebody else up. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Will there be frost?
I was going to say yes, there'll be frost. That's not really your question, is it? Yes, it is. It really is.
Oh my god.
I got nothing but love for you, Fluffy. Yes, there'll be frost. I love you. Get off my stage now.
Oh.
Mwah. All right. Next. Hey, next question. Oh, they're gone. They came up and then they were like gone. No?
Oh.
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Bit of a silly question. I know there's a lot of duck lovers in this chat, but for the people who like other birds, to be specific, pigeons, would you ever consider adding pigeons to your game?
Wait, there's other birds besides ducks?
I'm a big fan of pigeons.
I got Thomas stroking his beard, and I said the artist has decided yes.
Yes. So yeah,
pigeons versus duck.
Definitely. Yes, I love pigeons. I think they're just the cutest. Some people may say they're just air rats, but in my opinion, they're just very pretty little things.
They are.
Don't forget, so pigeons used to be popular pet birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and
there's a whole history to pigeons in New York City, and how they used to be pets, and then everyone's just like, screw this, and just got rid of them, and they just, it's an interesting history.
American pigeons, Italian pichones. Yes. See? So everything sounds better in Italian. Sorry.
So there is more than just ducks. There's room for pigeons.
Oh, that fills me with more happiness than you can imagine.
Eldramoor is the land of harmony, so the ducks and the pigeons will come together as one, and everything will be okay. We are inclusive. We are all inclusive here in Eldramoor, so we will include pigeons as well. All right.
Hello.
Welcome to stage. Thank you for your question, by the way. Yes, hello.
I'm at work, so sorry for the bad mic. I had two quick questions for you. One, how long do you plan on having the alpha go for?
Somewhere, I don't want to lock in. Right now, the plan is somewhere between 10 and 14 days. But again, that's still up in the air, but I think that's a safe bet to say somewhere between 10 and 14 days. We're trying to encompass 2 weekends. So that there are 2 weekends of playtime in alpha.
Awesome. And then the second one, you guys kept talking about wanting it to also be a social or have social aspects. Do you guys have plans on including like full body or eye and face tracking or anything like that?
Full body tracking, is that basically what it is? What you're talking about?
Yeah, full body or like facial and eye and stuff.
Yeah, so we definitely we definitely want to support full body tracking. We want to support haptics. We're waiting. We have announced already partnerships with Virtuix, the treadmill, and also with Free Aim VR shoes, which should be coming out this year. If you haven't seen them, that's pretty slick stuff. Both Ryan and I ordered on Kickstarter. The Free Aim VR shoes. They've both put out videos. Both Virtuix and Free Aim VR shoes have put out videos of being in Eldramoor playing. So we do want to support different peripherals. We're going to wait a little bit longer to try to figure out what those are, because the world moves pretty quick. Actually, I was just watching The Price is Right, and a Virtuix, one of the final showcase things had a Virtuix Omni treadmill. I was like, anyway, so yes, we are going to support full body tracking. Not sure which ones or what yet, but it's absolutely on the roadmap.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. And was that it, or I see a couple more hands? Okay, come on up. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Can you hear me well?
We can.
All right. This is two questions. One serious and one because the chat really makes it fun. I'll say the fun one first. I'd say or rather questioning it, I'd say if you ever make blacksmithing be a full class, if on its own, it would be fun, just like how the references have their own armor. I'd say bring in, probably later when the game's fully out, some extra custom clothing that the blacksmithings can make. Bring more, could be fear coloring, like how what was the name of it? Well, one of the games. I always forget them. I play too many. How they give coloring or straight up different designs. It would be interesting to see like a nature only coloring, a full metal armor. It would be interesting to see that.
Okay.
And my second question would be, because I know this happened to Township Tale, the difference how they're gonna make Quest and PC VR connect, or whether it be separate. Because I know a lot of people left because they canceled adding what PC VR had to Quest. I know it was a very big down because I played it a lot. I still do. I miss it. But that really made Township Tale be more the community keeping it alive.
Okay, so I'll handle the second question first, and then I think I'll pass it over to Paul for the first question. The second question, obviously you can see more graphically with PCVR, right? I mean, that's just a given. But you won't have access to spaces or see spaces or have certain play spaces that are only PCVR. The entire game will be PCVR, Quest, Meta, Steam, and it won't. You'll be able to access the game through any of those modes, and everybody will get the same thing. Again, will it look differently if you're on PCVR than Quest? Yes, it will if you're on than a standalone headset. But you will not be able to access anything differently on a PCVR than on a Quest. I think that answers your question, correct?
Yeah, it's just I know Chip Tail on Quest had to really downgrade a lot to keep it on, since it was mainly a Meta Quest 2, not 3. Because I know the 3 is
Yeah.
much stronger. That's why I asked.
Well, that's the thing. We are not supporting Quest 2. So we are only
That's good.
supporting Quest 3.
It's way too
Yes,
old.
Quest 3, Quest 3S, and newer, right? So, and we made that distinction right off the bat. Again, because it is newer, it is better, etc. So yes, so that will help. I'll pass it down to Paul for the first question.
So can I interject a little bit first on that one?
Yeah.
So it's also worth noting that we are intentionally trying to support all this behavior on all the platforms. So we are building for Quest first and then making it prettier and better for PCVR. We are not going for PCVR and then trying to downgrade and then saying, oh crap, we have to cut things. We are building for the minimum platform first so that we can support all of them.
Thank you. That's a great point, Ryan. Thank you.
Could I ask for a repetition of the first question? Because I thought it might be going in one or two ways, and I wasn't really sure what you were asking.
It became more of a whim of a question because of how the chat was being funny, but just
your
like
hands like
how
this, Sorry.
Just like how no, it's okay. It's like how the referral commands have its own set of armor. I'd say for when we do get blacksmiths, I would say probably at a higher tier just for it to make sense. They can also, with enough just forging items and whatnot you can find on the ground, make like certain unique sets. It could most definitely just be cosmetic if needed.
Yes.
Like give them their own type of extra finesse.
Yeah.
If that makes
If
it
I understand
better.
correctly, yes, there will be specific gear that can only come from the crafting professions. And I think that hopefully, I would very much like the professions to have their own kinds of gear, or at least we're exploring what it would be for professions to have gear that is more geared towards profession as opposed to combat. And those sets would also be. There's both sort of two answers in that, like, professions could have very specific profession gear that looks fancy, looks special, and is geared towards your profession, pun intended, I suppose. And also having the crafting professions able to make some unique things that don't come from any other sources in the world seem perfectly reasonable to me. I think the thing to balance, and the thing I just want to make sure everyone is aware that I am aware of, is making sure that neither high difficulty, dungeon and raid gear or high expense, high difficulty smithing gear or similar other crafted gear from other professions. Neither one is particularly dominant. We've talked a lot internally about making sure that both have a space that they want to fill. And because you never want to be in a situation where it just always go to the smith or just always run the raid and someone or some part of content doesn't become relevant anymore. But as far as them just having their own sets, yes, particularly for cosmetic reasons, absolutely.
If that's the case, I would love to see a duck and a pigeon set. Might as well make both both sides of the word have fun, no?
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
Could be.
Thank you.
First of all, shark, no interspecies breeding. And second of all, how let you know, at this point, we are not having a breeding system for pets. It is something that I've brought up because I did enjoy it too, in
It's
Orbis.
why she hired me.
So we'll see, but currently no, we do have a bunch of we do have a bunch of pets, but we don't have breeding just yet. So last question, Dr. Turtle. I think it was Dr. Turtle, wasn't it? Something Turtle. All right.
It is, yeah. Quick question. Very, very quick. What would the economy system be like?
A nice smile, Paul.
I might need you to refine the question a little bit more. Could you?
Okay, all right. I'm pretty new here, so
that's okay.
Please
I just want to better understand what you're
stuff.
looking to hear about.
Yeah. Like shops, would players be able to sell items to AI, or would there be a player market? And if so, what is it? Sorry, someone recognized me in chat. And if so, what would how would it work, I suppose?
So, as far as I'm concerned, Eldramoor has a lot of different places and portions of gameplay where people kind of participate in different things. People go combat, people go explore, people go gather, people go socialize, people go craft. And the thing that sort of glues them all together at the base is trade. Everyone goes and everyone does something, and they find things for themselves, and they find things other people are going to be interested in. Combat's going to bring back all sorts of stuff. They're like, I can't craft this. I don't know what to do with this weird glowing ore, and someone else wants that, and they can turn that into something that perhaps that combat player wants. So I think trade is really important. I am hoping that we're going to have two forms of player-to-player trade. I'd like to have an auction house for players to list things. In some distant world with some time, we'll do proper buy orders and that kind of stuff, but it'll start with just an auction house with good searching and filtering on one side. And then we'd really like players to be able to set up player stalls in the marketplace where you can sort of display some things you want to sell, or actually sell directly. And the way we're kind of planning to balance that is that the auction house has fees and player to player or player stall doesn't. So you could go to the auction house if you want something quick, if you need to buy stuff in bulk, if you need to do whatever, or you could browse the marketplace and look for something interesting, maybe save yourself $1 and have a player to player interaction. There will be NPCs selling the basics, and NPCs will be buying to some extent. I don't know that. I'm not confident enough to tell you any more of the specifics about what the sort of NPC side will be like, because we're very, 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 very much working on sort of the economic modeling right now. But at a baseline, I'm expecting NPCs to always sell the basics, so you're never sort of out of luck with nowhere to go. But I don't want them to be the sort of predominant place that you go for equipment or items or anything. I would much rather you buy from a player.
Yeah, again, we really want to encourage, player interaction, and really make this a community, where the fishing people supply fish to the cooking people, and the miners supply their ore to the smithing, and and so on and so forth. And then so it's really a big open trade system. So it's it really feels, everybody feels a part of what happens in the community. So I think so. Anyway, thank you for being here. You're new, so we appreciate you joining us. That's awesome. Feel free to spread the word about us here. The other thing I wanted to, I should have said at the beginning when we had 60 something people, but thanks for staying here, is we made it over 5,000 Discord members. Woo! It's probably old news, and I'm sure it was posted in the Discord, but I'm a little behind. So excellent, Sir Andrew. I can't believe you're here. That's a blast from the past. Binky, blast from the past. We will make sure that I saw a bunch of questions get asked in the chat. We will pull all those out and we'll make sure that they get answered, and we'll post answers to those maybe in a different channel or somewhere, but we'll make sure we post them and call attention to it, so that everybody feels like they got the attention that they deserve. So we're going to end this here. Thanks to all of you who stayed a little bit of extra time with us. Thanks to the team here who stayed a little bit of extra time with us. I really appreciate it. And again, thank you for being here and being part of this amazing community. And we're really, really excited to bring Eldramoor to you guys. So that's it. That's all we got. Thanks, everyone.